Hello,
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice
It
to
is
meet you.
it's
Nice to meet
so
you.
nice to see you again. You look absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you. So you are in Tel Aviv.
Almost in Tel Aviv. I'm living very close to Tel Aviv. The name of the city is Holon.
Oh, very good. So listen, we only have a half an hour together, so I want to talk to you about everything that you are doing down in Israel. First off, why don't you give us a little bit of an update as to what's happening with the coronavirus? I know that you have been doing some amazing work down there.
Yes, I'm working in a hotel, in the chain of hotels. So when this quarantine started, we decided to open our hotel to the people who has had virus.
Uh-huh.
These are people who not staying in the hospitals because their condition not so bad, but also they cannot to go home for some reasons. For example, they have very huge families, and they were scared to get infected. Their relatives get infected, or some people who felt not so well, or some people who came from different countries, so they needed quarantine period, so they stayed in our hotel. And
Wow.
it was a very amazing experience. I tell this in the past because it's almost over, because at the beginning we had many guests, like 600, and at the moment we have 150. We don't have any more people who stayed in the hotel, and in Israel the situation is like this. The quarantine is almost stopped, so a lot of people started to work. Some students, some pupils at school, they started to go at school. The shops are open step by step, even big malls. So in our country, everything is seems to be okay, and I
Good.
wish every country is the same. I hope everything will be okay, and all over the world it's gonna be over. Just maybe a few weeks more. I hope so. I hope.
Well, this morning, Anna, on the American TV, anyway, we were told that there is a company, Global Keep, I think is the name of the organization, and it's a app that is available right now only in Israel. But what it does is it allows you to you register yourself, which some people may say like, oh, that's a privacy issue. But oh, there's a siren.
Yes,
Um,
there is something. I will just put the sounds.
yeah.
Sorry.
So that's okay. So that this is an app that you can register with, and it will let you know if you have come in contact with somebody
Yes,
um,
yes. We
who
had this.
is.
Yes,
Go
it's
ahead.
true. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I interrupt you because I understand what you're talking
Yes,
about.
yes, yes.
This program we had from the beginning, from the very beginning. It was like application, which was recognized your movement, location.
Hmm.
So if somebody were ill, and from the beginning we were seeing on the news, for example, there were infected person on this area, on this shop, on this restaurant, and he was traveling there, he was going there. So if somebody was near this territory, so please stay at home and keep quarantine period. So
Yeah.
yes, true. Yes, and at the moment, the why the situation is more or less stabilized, because I'm not sure about the amount of people who are infected, but as we know, it's less. But as we know, the medical system now can, breathe relief, because they produce some tests. People can do these tests themselves at home and very quickly. As you know, before it took a lot of time. So and also the most important, the special equipment for breathing. Now we have a lot. So more or less now we are in safe. situation. Of course, there will be, I'm sure there will be again a lot of people who are infected, but now we can help. Now, the government and medicine can help.
Yeah, you guys are doing great things down there. And this app, just to let everybody know, it just came out recently, but it's only available in Hebrew, and it is only available in Israel right now. And they're just waiting for some permissions to go through. So there are
Yeah.
so many hearts and loves. And I just saw our beautiful Mrs. Globe 2019 log on. Alisa Tulinina, I saw you just scroll by really quickly, and you're going to be a guest here. I don't know if you can see any of the responses, Anna, that are taking place right now, but it says amazing, wow, hello from India, you're gorgeous. Of course you are gorgeous.
Thank you.
Tell us, okay, so when did the hotel that you were working at go from being a hotel to a quarantine center for those affected with the virus?
We started from 17th of March, and at the moment we are already closed. So we still have some person there, but at the moment we don't accept any new people. And I think so soon we are gonna close to, to rebuild everything, for disinfection, for everything. But it was a really nice experience, and not a lot of people worked, because not a lot of people wanted to work, because
Yeah,
some of
yeah.
them, they felt like it's danger. And the most important things for us for at the beginning, of course, was to protect ourselves, to protect our employees, to protect people from get infected. So we made it was a bit difficult. We never experienced this before. So we must to make two zones, like green zone for people who are healthy, and the yellow zone is for people who stayed in the hotel and who were infected. So it was very interesting experience to organize everything, to not to not to let infections comes, the food. We provide a lot of interesting things, because the people, I saw many videos in Facebook, live videos, that people who stayed in the hotel, they told, we don't feel like we are in hospital, or we are closed, because they had the parties. We arranged for them yoga classes, fitness classes, and different parties. So it was nice for them. Some of them, they could,
Oh.
never we could imagine we could have it during quarantine, but now it's like a holiday.
You're incredible. So, for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Dr. Tracy, the president of the Mrs. Globe organization, and this amazing, beautiful woman that you are having the chance to meet right now is our Mrs. Globe 2012, Anna Shapova. She won from Israel, and I was just thinking when you were talking about working with the virus, and listening to our news this morning, and they made it this point that it said, life now is going to come down to a different reference point, where we're going to say, well, before the virus, well, after the virus. And that might be a negative heart pull on us as individuals. But you also have a landmark moment that only 24 women in the world have ever experienced. And that was before becoming Mrs. Globe and after becoming Mrs. Globe. So I
Yeah.
want to just share that you were so determined to become Mrs. Globe that the first year you came in,
Yes.
and you didn't win the title, and you worked really hard. I don't know those of you who know this story. And she came back and she won the second year, and we're one of the very few systems that allows people to come back. And the reason I do that, really quickly before we hear that story, Anna, is the reason I do that is that the Olympics let you come back. And so why not have amazing women learn to come back and pursue their dreams? So it took you twice to win the crown.
Yes.
And so why don't you share a little bit about when your dream didn't come true the first time? What what motivation did you pull from to not give up?
I really had I don't know, I had a very good motivation. I really wanted. And the first time I came to Mrs. Globe, I didn't understand what it takes, what I need to have to be a Mrs. Globe, you know. I was thinking about different things, like I was preparing my wardrobe perfectly, I was preparing my body shape perfectly, which is of course important, but I didn't understand that it must be something like inside you. You must be ready mentally, first of all. You must be
Yes.
ready to say
Yes.
something, you know, to because to be a Mrs. Lop, it's not only the best like the perfect body and perfect face, but it's something which comes inside. It's some messages that you can tell the people that you can. And I for that year I did a lot of job. Like I was more concentrated about. Why I failed, why I didn't have so much energy and power. And after I was thinking about this, I did a very good job to change something. You know? And as being a director of Mrs. Globe for some regions, now I tell everybody, I tell the women that it's very great experience. Whenever you win Mrs. Globe, whenever it doesn't mean, of course, everybody goes there for win. But anyway, I can ask anybody from my last delegates, and they would tell the one thing: this is experience that changed the life. Because when you prepare, when you go there, when you see the different people, different women with different experience from all over the world, you try to. You cannot avoid, like you try to and want to be the best version of yourself. So it's true, when I see the life, I see the different stories, and when women goes to Mrs. Globe and when she comes back, it's like sometimes it's absolutely different person, which is a really great experience. And one time I went, I realized what I missed, what I really need in my character and my behavior to do, you know, to do better. That's why I think I won the
And
second time.
and then you came in the second year and captured the title and went down in history as Mrs. Globe 2012. And you're still part of the organization. Just let me quickly say that we're interviewing here the beautiful Anna Shapova, Mrs. Globe 2012. She won from the country of Ukraine, but now she is living down in Israel, doing lots of good work there. Fast forward to what's happening now. She is now a director with us and with many licenses. And how many women have over the years, because you carry several licenses, how many women over the years have you extended the Mrs. Globe
I think
experience to?
think about 30 or maybe more, including the classic, including different countries. I think something like this.
Exactly. So any of you, if you have some questions, go ahead and shoot them up on the board. I can see you now. I had that shut down for a little bit, but now I can see the questions that are coming in. You know, every time, and let's do a poll for this. Every time I see Anna, she reminds me of one of those gorgeous guest models, and she looks like this early in the morning and late at night with those sultry lips and those beautiful cheekbones and that gorgeous blonde hair. And even now, what time is it in Israel right now?
It's 7:16. 7:16.
7:16. So a little bit that totally agree, gorgeous. I want to have a bit of a serious conversation because I know that you and I have an equal. Yes, somebody says she looks like Marilyn Monroe. Yes, she does. We have an equal concern and passion and connection with the issue of violence towards women. And this is something that I know that you have personally survived through and have, as of course, as a spokesperson for the WIN Foundation, now are helping to share the healing journey. You want to talk a little bit about that and your involvement
Yes,
towards this
I would
very,
like.
very important subject?
Yes, I think it's a very important subject, and I see, you know, recently it was a situation in our country, in Ukraine. I mean, when some very famous women, she told, if your man fighting you, you what you did for, ask yourself what you did for this, you know, why you don't behave like calm, why you make him to do this, which make a huge, you know, a lot of people discuss this situation, and me, of course, I can tell I would never support any kind of abusement, and which these topics is really like vulnerable for me, because me myself, I experienced this situation, and it wasn't very easy to go through, because in this situation a lot of people they don't understand, when they never been in this situation, they don't understand why victims doesn't go from the, you know, abusers. And this is a very serious topics, and for me myself, it takes time, it takes even help. So some people, some psychologists, they talk to me, they help me. So now I understand a lot of problems, and now a lot of people, they know, like, on my experience, because I'm public person also, I'm Mrs. Globe, and everybody knows this, and everybody, some people, they know my stories. They believe me, once in 1 week I received some calls or messages from women, because sometimes they afraid to go to police, sometimes they afraid to go to social workers or something, because they really need somebody to help, just to give advice, just to talk. And me and some of the women which I met here in Israel, who also went through from this difficult situation, from abusement and families, we support these women, and it's like volunteer job. So we try to help with advices, where you have to go, where you have to, which help you can have, which lawyers can help. So we do this job here in Israel, and I hope in different countries, especially in Ukraine and Russia, that people understand that it's something that you can tell only no. There is no excuses for this, you know, no excuses for some abusement.
This is true. This is true. And I just want to add that, you know, it is an embarrassing situation. It's when you get married, you never say, you know, and I look forward to the day that I'm being squelched down into nothing and afraid of the person who is my partner and afraid to move. And, you know, people often say, how does that happen? And my answer is slowly. It
Yes,
happens slowly. And by the time you wake up, you can't believe what your life has become, especially if you're a strong woman. It's frightening to find yourself in that situation. And but you know, I just want to add two thoughts. That number one, we are not responsible for somebody else's emotions and reactions in life. And when somebody says, "What did you do wrong to make that person behave that way?" Well, guess what? All of us get angry. All of us get to our wits' ends. But we all, as adults, need to be responsible for how we respond to another person. We cannot provoke another person to physically violate another person. We have to have control over our own emotional well-being, and that's a very unhealthy message to send a woman in abuse, because that's exactly what that she's being told. It's your fault that I'm this way,
yes.
and you know that abusing another person is a character flaw within that person.
Sorry, but when a lot of people, they ask me, how that happened, you know, you got married, and after how you realized, you know, that something get wrong, why you didn't see this at the beginning, or they ask why women suffer, why they don't go immediately, because and I remember your words, it was your words when you told, it's like a frog. When you put a frog in a in a boiled hot water, she immediately jump. And when you put a frog in the water which just warming up, she will boil. So
The
she
loyal to
doesn't
death.
notice. So that's what I always say. You don't notice, because step by step somebody, like uh,
They slowly chip away. They just
yes,
slowly chip away at you, and before you know it, you wake up and you're so underneath it And I think you're in a bit of a shock. You know, you're thinking, how did this happen? How did things go so wrong? Is it real? You know, and I think that there's a huge shock that goes into the fact that this is your partner in life. How did my partner in life end up, being two people that were so in love to this? And I know that there's a lot of women who are watching right now that you know exactly what we're talking about, that you too have gone this journey. But Anna was very strong, and she not only removed herself and got help and got to a better place and rebuilt her life, but she did it with three babies, three children, and you had a very difficult year. Did you want to talk about that, or is that too private?
Oh, we can talk about this. I
Yeah.
don't.
So why don't you share? There was one year that I knew what was happening, and why don't you just share
What do you mean? What do
when
you
you were
mean?
in the shelter?
Yes, I was in a shelter because it happened many times, and the police didn't do nothing. So they all times they told my partner, "Don't come, don't approach her." But never mind, he approached, and it was very dangerous because I understand also women because sometimes they're scared because they understand if one time she goes to police, the second time he will come more angry. And just for 1 week in Israel, it happened. There were two crimes. Like the husband killed the women, and as we know now, he was in prison for this before. So sometimes they get very angry, and in this situation, women really needs. Uh, a huge support, and not only sometimes, not only from friends. So it's good in the countries when they have this possibility, when they have this protection for women, to close her, to keep her and children in a safe position. And I always tell women it's nothing too scary to go to the shelter because there you have everything. You have the atmosphere when you can, walk and think about your life, when you can face from different parts. You are not in this situation already. You look like outside, and there are a lot of people who help. There are sociologists, psychologists. They explain you why that happened, how can you change your life. They help you even financially after you go out. So it's very good experience. I suggest really it's something which if you suffer, you have to do this. But unfortunately, not every country we have this possibility. That's why I tell people who lives in Ukraine, you cannot tell the women to be silent. It's better when everybody says about this problem. When we all say about this problem, when we all tell no, stop, maybe we can change something. Maybe the government will think about it. There is a problem. Maybe
Yes,
they will do
because
something.
the statistics internationally, according to the UN, is 1 in 4 women experience it. And the thing is, as you just said, that it's all about keeping secrets. And so the 1 in 4 are reported cases. Can you imagine the non-reported cases? But as I always say, Anna, love doesn't hurt. And if somebody is hurting you, it's not love. It's abuse.
That's
And
that's the only. I have a lot of advices, but I cannot give an advices. But one thing I want to tell the women: if you are in a new relationship, and normally you see the signs, God sends you signs. You see that something is abnormal, but when you're in love, in the beginning of relationship, you think it's okay, maybe it's something, we are different person, we have to, maybe it's over the time we get used to this, maybe it's like different characters. But no, if you see at the beginning there's something wrong, it's something which you not accept yourself, it will be worse. It will be worse. So at the beginning, you can see if somebody controls you, if somebody try to manipulate. It never can happen to something very nice. It will be so. That's why I want women in the beginning of relationship, they think twice and they listen to their heart and their intuition, because normally our intuition, it says a lot, But
well, listen, I mean, we have so much that we could talk about. I just, why don't we, as this is all about the self-love diamonds, why don't you share with us when you came out of that situation? share with our viewing audience a self-love diamond that you pulled within yourself to get through that situation that you would like to give to the viewers right now.
I think the most important things, it's like if you can cooperate with yourself, first of all, you can always speak with yourself and ask yourself what you like, what you don't like, what you want, what you don't want. After this, you understand everything. Believe me, you will understand what you want, what you accept, what you not accept. But sometimes we think about husband, kids, relatives, what the friends says, which is really very big mistake. So the most important thing, and I think the most hardest thing, is to find a very good dialogue with yourself, first of all, to feel you, to hear you, what you want and what you don't want. Yeah, because all of us are diamonds. All of us are diamonds, and we just have to remember this and really value ourselves and love ourselves. This sounds like easy, but it's a very hard job.
Yeah, and our time is just about up, and I just want to thank you for your candidness, for your bravery, because for those of you who are watching, one of the most heartbreaking and frightening thing is to have to face the fact that the person that you committed your life to is actually violating you. It's embarrassing, it's horrifying, it's crippling, but if you stay in it, it will continue to break you down, because remember that love doesn't hurt. And just to let you know that the Mrs. Globe organization is the main fundraiser for the nonprofit foundation, the WIN Foundation, which specializes in abuse recovery. And right now, we are actually running our program called the Reclaiming Me program, and if you want to learn more about it, you can visit drtracy.tv. The classes take place every Wednesday. They're very healing, and they're ongoing, and you can contact either me or Anna or anybody in our organization, any woman in our organization. They'll be able to guide and direct you to where help is available from the privacy of your own home, because now our classes are all online, which is super exciting. So I would just like to encourage you all to go over there. Anna, I wish we had more time together. Definitely come back. Thank you for all your hard work. You're gorgeous, as always, and I'm just so proud of you. And kisses to you and your beautiful 3 daughters. And you keep up the good work. And are we gonna see you in China this year at Mrs. Globe?
For sure, for sure. I hope everything will be okay and we can fly unlimited.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a great honor. I just want to say thank you for your great job. You support people, and when I was in a bad situation, you support me a lot. And thank you for this. Thank you for what you do for the women, to encourage them, to inspire them. Thank you. I love you.
I love you too. I love you too. All right. Lots of love, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us for Self-Love with the Duchess and the Diamond and our beautiful Mrs. Globe 2012, Anna Shapova, calling in from Israel. And we'll see you guys all next week. Lots of love.
Bye.